Welcome to Tales of Fae and Folk, and today I'm going to tell you the story of an imp who is stuck in a cathedral. A punishment for the imp, indeed. There is a cathedral city in England called Lincoln, the capital of the county of Lincolnshire that sits in the East Midlands of the country. This city dates back to the Iron Age. Remains of wooden huts were found dating back to this time. This small settlement was built by a deep pool, Brayford Pool it is known as today, and this pool is part of the River Witham that winds its course at the bottom of a great hill. On this hill the later settlement was built by the Norman conquerors, and much later Lincoln Cathedral was built there also. In its long history, Lincoln has been a Roman town, a Viking town, part of the Danelaw that saw what we now call Viking people settle over a huge part of England. And after the whole country was eventually invaded and taken by William the Conqueror, becoming the Norman king of the country, Lincoln became a strategic place for the conquering military. In 1092, the immense cathedral at Lincoln was finished, cementing Lincoln as not just a militarily important town, but also a place of religious devotion and power. It is a very striking city, full of medieval buildings that look like a film set and a bustling shopping area. It's a great place to visit on any tour of England's cathedral cities. And it is the strange tale of the cathedral that we are going to hear of today, because believe it or not, Lincoln's cathedral has its own imp. There is a legend from the 1300s that it is still spoken of today in Lincoln of an imp that was sent to do the devil's work on earth. 2 imps were dispatched by the Lord of Misrule. He must have been bored and in an annoyingly playful mood that day. They caused utter havoc across the whole of the north of England, twisting the spire of Chesterfield's All Saints Church into the strange shape it still has today. For some extra sport, they decided to head for Lincoln, to the great cathedral there. Once at this huge building, they sneaked inside, smashing all of the tables and all of the chairs, smashing even the beautiful stained glass windows, and even going so far as to have the neck to trip up the bishop, who most probably fell flat on his face. There were books of devotional hymns and prayers lying around inside the cathedral, and at this noisy commotion, an angel slipped from one of the pages of the books to find the cause of all the noise and chaos. This angel found the imps full of mischief, and the angel ordered them to stop. One imp, braver than the other, picked up rocks and started to throw them at the angel. Meanwhile, the other imp, not quite so cocky, hid under the mess of broken tables and chairs. With one fell swoop, the angel turned the first imp to stone, where it can be found stuck to the cathedral today. The second imp, still hiding, was allowed a chance to escape. Folks say that the wind that constantly blows around the building is that second imp, and he is still looking for his wicked friend to this very day. As with the best folk tales, they twist and grow over time, And in one of these further tales, the imp that had been allowed to escape made its way to Grimsby on the very northern east coast of England. Here it caused the same trouble for the townsfolk as it had done at Lincoln. That same angel from the devotional book appeared once again, completely exasperated. The imp had had its first and only chance. The angel caught hold of the imp and gave its backside a good walloping. And then, as with the first imp, the angel turned the wicked creature to stone. This imp can still be found in St. James's Church, holding on to its sore backside. It can be found on a wall on the south side of the church. The first imp, that is stuck in Lincoln, can be found high in an upper part of the cathedral, and has even become the emblem of Lincoln City itself. In honour of the Lincoln Imp and college history, Lincoln College at Oxford University had commissioned for it its very own imp in 1899. This particular imp sat there until the year 2000, when it was removed to a safer place and replaced by another imp. In Oxford, it is said that there is even a saying that grew from this particular imp, to look on someone as the imp looks over Lincoln. And even this college newspaper is called the Lincoln Imp. Peculiarly, the image of the imp in this same form can be found in ancient places all over the north of England and into Scotland, a hairy-bodied imp with cow-like ears, horns and cloven hooves, one leg lifted and crossed over the other knee, so its foot is resting. Both hands hold the crossed leg in place, and not forgetting a gap-toothed smile. These other imps are so similar, so many and some from around the time as Lincoln's imp, that the thought is that this could be an older god or nature spirit, as the Green Man is supposed to be, an older part of society that was venerated and eventually carved into the churches and buildings for blessing and protection from an older time. When the cathedrals and churches would be built, these familiar, comforting images were carved as part of the decorations, regardless of its association to older pagan beliefs. These are the threads that bind the past and present and future in folklore, and that is perfect, because sometimes it is the hidden things left behind by the working regular folk whose impacts are felt stronger than one would expect, because they are quiet and hidden and a legacy of the people. I hope you enjoyed this fun snippet of history. Lincoln Cathedral looks beautiful, and I hope to visit one day, and I will be hunting down the stony imp. I would love to hear if any of you have found this imp, or any of the other imps mentioned. Have you found any imps on buildings in northern England or even in Scotland? If you liked this episode, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more folktales can spread and be remembered, and that's an important thing, because that's the history of all of us, the people and their stories. And I hope you will join me on my next episode. But until then, dear friends, keep well, brightest of blessings, and remember, don't play with the fairy folk or the imps, or you may end up in one of my folktales yourself.